the quest for a unified supply chain. Topic of my discussion today with two executives from EPG. I'm joined by Peter Bollinger, CEO. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Bob. Nice to be here.
And Al Rivett, VP Sales. Hello, Al.
Hi, Bob.
Good to have you both with me. Peter, let me ask you first. Because supply chain professionals are constantly seeking continuous improvement. What are some of the questions you're hearing here at ProMat about how the technologies that exist to support that?
I think the first question we're hearing, how can we help or how can they can help to transform the business, right? So today, at a certain level, they maybe acquire different companies, they maybe have a lot of different warehouses with different technologies. And the question is, okay, how can I transform that to the next level and get more out of it?
And continuous improvement is such a vague term. I mean, there must be what specific technologies are they looking at? Software, hardware, combination of the two, or?
I think, of course, software is a very important part these days because it can combine different hardware solutions together, right? And therefore, I think that's a big need in the market right now.
Al, what do you think?
I agree, but I think additionally what they're looking for is visibility. As Peter mentions, there's all these disparate systems that are out there on the floor today, and if you're trying to get better, get stronger, get faster across your supply chain, it starts with visibility and it starts with integration of all those systems. So customers are confused. They look at all this great technology going, how do I do it?
Let's talk about another term that's very vague and help us to drill down into what it really means, and that is that this concept of a unified supply chain. Again, the technologies to support that goal and the benefits of achieving. Al?
So that's going to depend on the company and the definition. Our view of a unified supply chain, first off, is an integrated suite. It's an integrated ability for everything from financials to inventory, to delivery, to workforce. And how do you have that for a single dashboard? But then taking that and being able to manage a existing supply chain environment and know that anything you look at across here in the future can also be integrated. That's the unified supply chain. It's about systems speaking together. It's 2025. They all should. They don't.
Tough challenge considering they often come from many different vendors. Peter, how do you think companies overcome that?
Yeah, I think you have to break the silos, right? So you have to have different solutions for different areas. And right now they're working independent, right? And I think a big improvement of efficiency is that you can really make them work together and utilize benefits, right? Simple example here is you have dock management on one side and then the warehouse operation on the other side. If they don't know from each other, right, that's not good. Yeah. But if the warehouse maybe know what's coming next, they can optimize the warehouse process against what's happening on the dock and vice versa. And I think this is the things we're looking for, so that the silos are broken and then we can work across borders and then use it to benefit.
So it's a great goal, but Al, let's face it, supply chains are inherently complex. If we're talking about here, what challenges are organizations facing as they've traveled on this journey towards so-called unified supply chains?
The biggest challenges they have are their current platforms, be it their automation, and automation can be as simple as print and apply. It can be as simple as their ASRS system, but that's mission critical to them today. So they don't want to interfere with that, but how do they grow? How do they evolve to their customers' changing business needs with these existing platforms? They're struggling how to fill those gaps and then offer that flexibility and growth going forward. That's really the challenge. And how do you give them that ability to grow today with what you have and then be able to deploy additional technology?
Peter, where do you see the challenges, the pain points and the like in his company's attempt to achieve this so very important goal?
I think the biggest problem is, and let's say the wishful thinking, greenfield would be nice, but nobody has that, right? Yeah. So you are faced with, okay, I have something here, maybe different vintages, different ages, different technology, and now you are challenged with get all of these together, right, and make it work under a new direction, and that I think is the biggest challenge.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for kind of that general discussion. I would now like to ask a little bit about EPG specifically. Peter, tell me about what EPG is specifically doing in order to support companies' journey toward this unified supply chain and total visibility.
I think number one is our experience. right? So we are 1,000 people around the world, and we are doing this business for 35 years. So we have a lot of experience, so we can consult the customer and say, look, we look at your operation and we give you direction and suggestions how to improve it with our tools. And to do so, we have a complete EPG One suite, right, that covers the complete supply chain process. So we can really help them, let's say, from the dock to the warehouse and back on the street.
Al, how do you see the role you guys are playing as fitting into this whole goal of unified supply chain and total visibility?
I'll piggyback what Peter mentioned. We have a WCS, a platform that's
Warehouse control system.
warehouse control system, thank you, that is hardware independent, that can give these customers this flexibility, but it only happens with experience. Fortunately, the Europeans have been much farther ahead than the Americans and over here in automation. They've been doing it a lot more, and we have that experience with those implementations, and we're taking that over here along with the tool set just to start with the guidance, start with the mapping with customers to get them to the next level.
Playing catch up, are we here?
Little bit
Here in the States.
a little bit.
Yeah, but we're going to have to do it in order to reach this goal that you guys are talking about today about a unified supply chain with total visibility. Thanks to both of you for joining me today to talk about that and a little bit about EPG, Ehrhardt Partner Group as well. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I was speaking with Peter Bollinger and Al Rivett of EPG. Thank you very much for watching.